Hello and welcome to another HardwareCanucks review. Today we've got the Air-Cooled Cyclone 2 with the upgraded USB ports. This case is very exciting for its Starlight. Now that, my friends, is a blast from the past. That's how we used to start all of our case videos. What's up guys, I'm Dimitri and today I'm bringing you something unique and different, taking a look at an enclosure from 2011, so about 7 years ago, from Air-Cooled, the Cyclone 2. Sometimes it's fun to go in the past and re-review things that we thought back then were like the state-of-the-art, highest end premium products, but now let's see exactly how we've evolved from 7 years ago. I really appreciate the handle. More case boxes need to have a There she is. So this is a really interesting composition. In the frame that you see, we have a case from 2018, case from 2011. I'm super excited to see what the experience would be like in building something like this and doing cable management. Right now we have so much focus on cable management with modern enclosures that, you know, what was the experience like 7 years ago? Well, let's see for ourselves right after this. The new Enermax LiquFusion is their first addressable RGB all-in-one cooler with a standard 240mm rad and absolutely beautiful RGB ring illumination on the fans and the pump to highlight that unique flow indicator through the transparent top. Check out the LiquFusion down below. So I feel like the warning signs for extremely restrictive front intake go all the way back to 2011 because this front panel is hilarious, not only in its design format but also functionality. So from a design perspective, it actually blends very well with this whole jet engine side looks, which are LEDs and they're not there for airflow. But check this out, we have this little perforation on the front, but on the back here, there's nothing, it's completely closed. So there's no air coming in or out of this entire front panel. So we just have the optical bay area and the little floppy disk area too. And you can see the gloss spreads all the way to the top panel. And here we have this really cool kind of like jet engine kind of exhaust looking plate, but it's kind of pointless because there is no fan underneath. So I'm not sure why this exists, but you can see gloss in 2011 is kind of acceptable, right? So why is it still present on most modern cases? The Meshify C, we have this disgusting gloss on the interior panel. Not cool. So this is actually the upgraded version with two USB 3s, colored headphone jacks. There's an eSATA port for the AO, which I find hilarious. The power button, it's actually kind of discreet, kind of this fin in the top, and it's nice and large, but the reset button is hidden over here and also has a really nice tactile feel to it. Now I do appreciate their commitment to making sure their case format fits some form of like a unique design element. So it says Star Cruiser here, which matches the whole jet engine sort of front facade here, but it also has Cyclone on the front and Air-Cooled, so I feel like their cohesion element was a bit lacking back in the day. Oh my god, we have thumb screws. The days before tempered glass was everywhere. So this is acrylic and it's like a mix between, so we can actually populate a fan here, but they forgot one crucial thing. There is no dust filter. But yeah, fans on the side panel is definitely a trend that has been dead for a while. And so let me know if you want to see it come back in cases down the line. Oh my god. Look, the actual jet engine parts are part of the side panel. That's hilarious. Wow. What? A removable hard drive cage in 2011? Damn. Because you want that extra graphics card clearance. What does the back look like? Huh. It's actually not bad at all. I mean, the grommets cutouts could be slightly bigger. There's a side SSD mount over here. Not bad at all. No wonder this case was over $100 when it was launched. I mean, look at all this additional material and the tooling required to attach the plastic onto the side panels. We got it for around 30 euros thanks to Case King for the hookup. The metal side panels, by the way, are super thin. I feel like I can bend it with just my thumb. Yeah. Ugh, look at all the dust. Okay, for airflow, a single 140mm fan is included with blue LED, although it is completely choked. It looks like you can install a fan above here. That's why this whole top looks this way. Got it. And you can see the rest of the LEDs are spread through the little, engine holes that are routed through these little wires over here. One of them already popped out. And you gotta appreciate the little shark sticker in the middle of the fan. Where is the consistency? We have the Star Cruiser, we have the Cyclone, And now we have the Shark. And taking a look at the inside, it looks a little bare bones for today's time, but back in the day, this is actually really high quality stuff. So we have this blue interior color scheme going on. You know, the 5¼ inch little lock mechanism have the same color. The removable drive cage is colored in the same blue as the rest of the body, so it matches very well. The bottom drive cage is non-removable. It is riveted, but it is not actually attached to the motherboard tray, so you could potentially remove this without affecting the structural integrity of the entire frame. The optic drive is also riveted. We have that additional fan at the top for exhaust, I'm guessing, and we have an additional 120mm fan for the rear exhaust. I do like these PCI brackets that are also in blue, and there are no thumb screws. Instead, we have these nice silver screws here. And the flock of cables, it's actually not too bad. I see MOGS connections, you know, that's obviously a sign that something is outdated, but I'm sure that's just for the lighting. But at least the audio cable is black. This would be an easy job for cable management. And unfortunately, the only dust filter in this entire case is at the bottom for your power supply, which is good, but nowhere else on the case. So I am genuinely impressed at what you get in 2011. Two fans that are LED based. We have removable drive cage with plenty of hard drive, you know, population. We have an SSD caddy in the back. We have an additional fan that is hidden. It's kind of like discreet, you know, in this optical area. And the entire motherboard area seems open. You know, there is no power supply shroud, but those came way later. And so now it's about time we put a system onto this thing and see how it performs. What do you know, the lighting on the front panel does not work. The MOGS connection, for some reason, it's not sending power to the LEDs. The rear fan is working fine and it's very bright, spilling a lot of light onto the interior. So the front fan is also working. The front fan is actually not illuminated, so the actual LEDs have been removed and been placed onto the front panel. But yeah, they're not receiving power, so instead I put a cable mod LED strip in the front panel so we can see what the case looks like, because I mean that's the whole attraction of this entire enclosure. And also, can we just take a second and admire this beautiful reflection on the wall? It's coming from inside the case, but there's a lot of like things blocking the LED strip, so however this light is being reflected from inside the case looks absolutely beautiful. And look at these light streaks on the bottom. Actually, the thing that looks really cool. I don't think we'll see anything become the standard in terms of, you know, illuminating the exterior for, you know, future cases, but this visual accidental artifact is appreciated. All right, so for me, this entire assembly process and the experience has been weirdly familiar. You know, if you would take like a 2017 mid-tower, you would have to take all the same steps to achieve like a clean cable management system and make sure that all your hardware fits where it should. And over the years, it's interesting to see how things have changed. So we no longer see these gamery designs. This is the definition of what people avoid. The 5¼ inch drive area has definitely been removed from today's cases, but I wonder why we had 4 of them in the first place. Maybe you have a DVD drive, a CD drive, so you can, you know, copy the discs and stuff like that, but why would you ever need 4? And internally, the main change we see is with the front section. So we've removed the restriction for the front airflow, not only for the front panel, but for the actual frame itself, and that next barrier of having those hard drive caddies that you could remove potentially to allow for larger graphics cards clearance and also allow that unrestricted front intake. And so the biggest shift has come in terms of airflow. So this case does not support a 240mm radiator, whereas now that's kind of like the default configuration for any case that comes out. If it does not support a 240 rad, then what are you doing? Now, airflow in this case is not good. My CPU was throttling at like 94 degrees Celsius, and even opening the front panel didn't help much. but we were throttling less. Perhaps the most surprising thing for me was the whole cable management situation that I was not expecting to be that good. So all the rubber grommets, for example, are spaced out well. The only thing is they're quite small, so you can't fit that many cables comfortably through, and the rubber grommet kind of falls out. For example, the power supply area, that rubber grommet is quite small. However, at the back, we have all the necessary cable tie points to route your cables just perfectly fine. And we even have a small lip, at the very bottom, so you can tuck your cables there and close the panel without any issues. And if you want to install the modular drive back inside the case, it would not interfere with my 10.5-inch GPU, which is awesome. The CPU cutout above the motherboard is properly located and it's large enough to pass your cable through. Some cases now don't even have this. Now, what's interesting about the cable tie points, they are a bit smaller in size, so you potentially cannot pass multiple cable ties through it, whereas now it's slightly longer and gives you a little bit more mobility when you do cable management. But one more thing that surprised me was the inclusion of this little plastic clip that allows you to install the motherboard standoffs, something that 90% of cases today don't include, but the case from 2011 did. And to tie this whole experience of working with something for 2011, I want to reflect as to where we're heading in terms of case design. So first, the visual aspects. It's awesome that we're constantly seeing new case designs, but it's weird that with the inclusion of tempered glass and all the squared off corners, everything kind of looks the same. And I'm wondering if we'll ever revert back to something like this. I want to see more specialized cases because right now every single interior can accommodate for absolutely any type of hardware, but imagine if we are, as a user, kind of are channeled into a particular build scenario. I think that would benefit the market right now because everything kind of is the same. And I definitely want to see the next chapter of progression in terms of case designs to be focused on cable management. So with cases like the H500P, all the little plating behind the motherboard tray allows the case to look so unique, and you don't even have to install the side panel to kind of cover up all these cables because the plating and all the little sections are already covered. And then we have the new H series from NZXT that allows you to channel cables without much effort because we have those little plastic guides and makes the organization a lot easier. And so hopefully in 6 to 7 years, we'll be looking at cases that were launched, this year and laugh about their stupid design decisions and weird frame structural things internally and see how the case market has evolved. And so I would love for you to share your earliest case experience, working inside something old like this, and how does that contrast to, how we work with cases and systems today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe and check out this other relevant content, and we'll see you in the next video.